It's Erin, and I'm in Oklahoma. I have actually been here for the past few days at this campsite called Cedar Campground, and it is actually pretty close to Oklahoma City. So it's been really nice to get some work done. While I've been here, I was editing and uploading my last YouTube video, and I also finished my website, which I'm really excited about. I will link it below. Give it a little look if you want to. It's really basic right now. There's not a whole lot on it. But I wanted to have a way to still do readings while I'm on the road. So I have an offering on my website right now where you can book a reading with me, and it's a pre-recorded video that will be emailed to you. So that is available on my website if you want to check it out. What I wanted to share in this video is actually about my experience in Oklahoma City. I actually used to live here. I lived here a few years ago. I only lived here for 1.5 years, and this was right before my Saturn return, and so it was nice to come back to a place that was familiar and just somewhere where I kind of knew where some things were. And I even went back to the coffee shop that I loved going to when I lived here, and that was really nice. I want to share my experience with when I lived here, because when I lived here, I was in an interesting place in my life where I had already begun my spiritual journey and path. You know, I had already initiated that, I guess, and or rather I had already sort of opened up to the idea and concept and connection to my spirit guides. But when I was here in Oklahoma City, that's when things really opened up for me spiritually, for a couple different reasons. So one, I actually was doing readings here at a shop in Oklahoma City for about 1 year or so, and doing that and using my gifts with doing readings for others really helped me practice and hone my clairvoyant abilities and my psychic abilities. And I loved it. It was super fun, and it really helped me feel more confident with using my gifts. So that was huge, because it was basically like I was exercising my psychic muscle every week. And then the other huge thing for me with living here is where I lived. It's actually not super far from where this campsite is. I lived in this apartment complex that was close to this park. There were all these trees. It was really beautiful, and there were a lot of cedar trees, and I remember going for walks in that park all the time. Especially if I was feeling any type of way, I would go for a walk in that park, and I really felt connected to the cedar trees. I remember walking in the park, especially after a really heavy rain, and if I went right after that really heavy rain, you could just smell all the trees, particularly the cedar trees. They had this beautiful, earthy, fresh scent, and I just loved it and felt really connected to it. So when I was here, I spent a lot of time in that park particularly, but also connecting to the cedar trees. I just felt really drawn to them, and I really do feel like they help to initiate the next kind of level, I guess you could say, in my spiritual practice. I would sit next to the trees a lot and just try to connect to my spirit guides. I would even just sit next to them just to spend time with them, I guess, and also to feel grounded and connected, not just to myself, but just to what was around me, the nature spirits, and I was so connected to these trees. I remember I decided to make an oil from the tree. Basically, what I did is I just took olive oil and I just took a very small branch from a cedar tree, and just to share this, I always want to emphasize being really respectful when it comes to taking something from nature. And even like when I took this branch not just from the ground, but like actually from a living tree. But what I did is, this was a tree that I was visiting frequently, and I think I even brought like a food offering or some sort of exchange, and I even asked the tree which branch was okay for me to take. And I really do feel, and then when I asked that, I felt drawn to this one particular branch that was towards the bottom, and that's what I took to make this oil. So I just wanted to share that because I think it's really, really important to have that sort of respect for nature, especially if you're going to take from it. I mean, you know, I know Mother Earth provides for us in so many different ways, and I don't think she necessarily demands a equal exchange every time, but I really felt that it was important to me to have that sort of respect with this tree because I was taking something from it for my own personal use. So I just wanted to put that out there. So yeah, I took the branch and just put it in olive oil in a jar and infused it for a few weeks, several weeks, I want to say 4 weeks at least, and it became this anointing oil that I would use whenever I wanted to connect with my spirit guides. And it doesn't really have a strong scent, it just kind of smells mostly just like olive oil. But you can smell like a faint earthy smell that I really love. And I still use this anointing oil. I have way more than this. I still have like a little jar because I made quite a bit. And I still use this anointing oil whenever I want to connect to my guides, whenever I do readings too. I particularly love using the oil for when I'm doing readings for other people. And I actually have, like I said, I have quite a bit more of this, so I do already have some in some little bottles like this that I am thinking to put on my website to be for sale, for purchase. I'll let you know when that is available. So my website, you can go to my website now. You'll see a button that says shop, but if you click on it, it just takes you to a page that says coming soon. There's nothing that's on there right now, but I do have things that I'm working on to put in my shop, so just stay tuned for that. Also, I call this anointing oil 1-800-Ancestors. That's just what I just thought it was a fun name. That's just what I want to call it. I'm really grateful to the cedar trees for really being there for me during that time, because when I lived here, it was an interesting kind of experience where I moved here knowing that I wasn't going to stay here, and I was kind of in a place where I wasn't sure where to go next, both in a literal physical sense, but also like in a spiritual life sense. So I really feel like the cedar trees offer me a lot of support, and I love them. They're amazing. They are such sacred trees. They hold a special place in my heart, so that's something that I just wanted to share in this video, especially while I'm here in the same place that I lived in. So it just felt too perfect for me to share that with you all. While I am here, there's literally a cedar tree like right in front of me. This one right here. I highly recommend if you are wanting to deepen your spiritual practice, to go connect to a cedar tree if that's available. I know they're not everywhere. I don't even think they're native to North America. I want to say I read that somewhere, that they were brought over. But I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that they are native to the Mediterranean region and area. I also want to say I really think I had a past life in that area, so maybe that's part of the connection. Obviously connect to whatever tree you feel drawn to, but I love the cedars. I really feel like they have a deep connection to the spirit world, and the energy that I get from them is kind of a little more serious, a little more of like a silent reverence. There really does just feel like there's something extra sacred about them. I mean, I feel like you could say most trees are sacred, but I really do feel like with the cedar there's this holiness to them that I think is just really special. That's another thing with the cedar trees, is they are very connected to the spirit world, but they're also very protective. So they help you to call in the helpful, well-intended, benevolent spirits, and to protect and guard against the not so well-intended spirits. So that's something else just to know about them if you're wanting to connect with them. I know some people feel a little like spooked out when it comes to connecting with spirits or connecting to the spirit world, but I think as long as you have good energetic boundaries and maybe even some sort of like psychic protection, then I think, it's worth exploring. I don't think that you need to be afraid of like being harmed in some way, especially if you're setting that intention and you're calling upon the spirits that are here to be a steward to you and to guide you and guard you and protect you. If you just call them in, I'm sure they'll be happy to guide you in connecting with them and connecting with the spirit guides and ancestors that are here to help you. So, and I really feel like cedar trees help with that immensely. I really feel like when I was here, they were such an anchor with that for me. And I'm very, very grateful to them for that. And I'm very grateful that I still have this oil. I still have something to remember them by and to connect, something that I can use to connect with them. So that's what I wanted to share about cedar trees. I actually just sat with this cedar tree a few minutes ago, just to connect for myself. I've been feeling like this week, since I've been busy and just doing a bunch of random things, not random, but just kind of running about here and there and really doing a lot of work and not really taking the time to slow down and be present. I felt like I needed to reconnect and recenter myself. So I just kind of sat with this tree and called upon my own spirit guides and asked for guidance, and they gave me some really beautiful guidance, and I really feel so much more connected and centered now. And I'm so glad that I had the chance to connect with them again. It's so weird, when I moved away here, I didn't really think that I would be back. But since I was, I'm traveling the country and I was kind of coming this way anyway, I thought I would stop by again. And Oklahoma City is a cool city. It's kind of a cool city, honestly. It's pretty cool. There's some cool stuff. There's a lot of good restaurants, a lot of good coffee shops, and just cool little things. So if you ever come this way, I recommend Oklahoma City. It's pretty neat. I will see you someplace else.